قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم. قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين. قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون. قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم. قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين. قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل محمد الفاتح.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. ای رسول الله رسول اللہ ہے رسول اللہ زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو ہے زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو روتے ہوئے سرور کا روتے ہوئے سرور کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو ہر ایک محمد کا فرمان بھی روتا ہے جبریل بھی روتے ہیں قرآن بھی روتا ہے آیات کے مصدر کا آیات کے مصدر کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو قدرت کے خزانے کی پہچان کرائی ہے جس احمد مرسل کی ممنون خدائی ہے توحید کے گوہر کا توحید کے گوہر کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو تطہیر کی آیت کا پڑھتے تھے جہاں کا امت نے وہ زہرا کا دروازہ جلا ڈالا جلتے ہوئے اس در کا جلتے ہوئے اس در کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کے پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو جب گھر پہ ہوا حملہ زہرا کے یہ تھی سر پر کیوں کر نہ لگا ہوگا محسن کا لہو اس پر تطہیر کی چادر کا تطہیر کی چادر کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو ہر دور میں امت نے کیوں ڈھائے ستم پوچھو کس جرم میں زہرا کے مارا گیا بچوں کو محسن علی اصغر کا محسن علی اصغر کا پرساد و عزادارو زہرا کو پیغمبر کا پرساد و عزادارو روتے ہوئے سرور کا सरवर का पुरसादो आज़ादारो ज़हरा को पैगंबर का पुरसादो आज़ादारो बर मोहम्मद व आल मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि।
على أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والمرسلين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أما بعد، سلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. Our discussion, which commenced last night, revolves around answering the burning question of why is it that despite change within ourselves and we do not reform ourselves, we do not change ourselves. And we mentioned last night that we wish to present not a generic answer to this question, but a community-specific answer to this question, seeing that we are also members of the same community in which we have grown up. And therefore we propose that there are three things that are lacking in our community. The first is reading, the second is reflection, and the third is reform. Last night we spoke a little bit about reading, and we said how it is important to read. Reading has so many benefits. Some of the benefits go beyond gaining knowledge. For example, there is an academic study that says that by reading you relieve stress. We live in a very stressful, tension-filled society. And so when you read, your body is relieved of that stress. And so aside from gaining knowledge, there is benefit to reading. We also mentioned how in this day and age there is no excuse. In the olden days, books were hard to come by. Today we get books freely available online. We have gadgets that can hold millions of books. We can search books by writing one word and it searches thousands of books. Our ulama in the past had a very difficult time. There was one scholar, at one time he was reciting a majlis, and he recalled a hadith from Biharul Anwar, and he recited it from the pulpit. Somebody in that majlis later approached him, as many times we are approached after the majalis. Can you give me a reference, he said, for this hadith? He says it's in Biharul Anwar. That man said, no, I want to know the volume and page number. Now Biharul Anwar is 110, means be free thinkers. Think independently. Think outside the mindset that others have placed on you. So as people who commemorate every year Muharram, Safar, why don't we follow in the footsteps of Abu Abdullah and become free thinkers? This is the question we want to answer today. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Acting without thinking is like eating without chewing. Imagine yourself having a meal and you take a bite and you swallow it without chewing. When a person acts without thinking, they are eating without chewing. It's the same thing. Thinking is of different types. Don't say, oh, I just thought about it. No, thinking is of different types. There's parallel thinking. There is thinking outside the box. There is thinking through analysis, through deduction, through induction. There's so many ways of thinking. Advanced methods of thinking. You have to learn how to think. If we want to become a thinking community, first we have to learn how to think. Many of us assume things. Assumption is not thinking. We assume. We put two and two together. That two and two together sometimes can be false. If we don't have evidence and we assume this and we assume that, or we guess, that's guesswork. That's not thinking. Thinking is a tiresome and difficult process. Try it. Sit down one day and say, today I'm going to think. I'm only thinking. And choose a subject for yourself. Why has Allah, for example, created me? Not created human beings, not created Hazrat Insan, me. Why has He created me as an individual? What do I have to offer to this creation, to this universe? Sit and think. And time yourself. How long can you think about this? And what natija, what conclusion can you come up with? So you will find that thinking is not an easy process. Yet it is the thinkers who change the world. It is the thinkers who rise up against oppression. It is the thinkers who lead and invent and come up with all sorts of new ideas and solutions for the world. The thinkers. The thinkers. And that is why in the Holy Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal uses so many different terminologies for those who think, to encourage us to think. He says, for example, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَرَوْنَ. So many words he uses. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. These are all related to intellection, to thinking, to pondering, to reflection. Why don't people reflect? When you reflect, when you think, and you train yourself, and you practice, and you start thinking long, and your thoughts go deep into the future, and you think about the consequences of your actions. If I do this, what will happen tomorrow? What will happen 1 week from tomorrow? What will happen 1 year from tomorrow? And you're thinking about the consequences. This strengthens your mind. Then you are able to take correct decisions. Today, many people are very indecisive. They don't know, should I go right or should I go left? Should I do this, should I do that? You'll find people are indecisive in their lives. Why? Because they lack this faculty of thinking. Why? Because people are thinking for us now. Instead of thinking for ourselves, we are allowing others to think for us. And so when we have to make decisions in our lives, we find it almost impossible to do so. What is the consequence of not thinking? Not thinking means blind following. Mare karanta. Badai kareche. Everyone is doing this. Everyone will do it. Why? Because the door of the mind has been locked shut. You don't want to sit and think, is this correct or not? You just follow the herd, follow the crowd. I want to give some examples. And some of these examples pertain to this community. And I am a member of this community, so I have a right. When I sit here and speak, I speak with authority as a member of the community. Look at the example of the question of qualification. Qualification. And I put it in quotes. Why? Because he's always mentioned qualification. He's not qualified. Now let's take the example of a community school. Let's say the community decides we want to build an Islamic school. MashaAllah, what a beautiful idea. You build a school, thawab jari, very nice. You are training the future generation. Question, who is going to teach in that school? Who is going to be the principal, the headmaster of that school? Oh no, we need somebody qualified. Okay, fine. Islam is not alien to the idea of qualification. Islam knows about qualification. Even for Salatul Jama'ah, Islam says the person who leads has to be qualified. A, B, C. If he doesn't have these qualities, he can't lead Salatul Jama'ah. So if we're talking about qualification, Islam knows. Islam understands qualification. And if you follow somebody in Salatul Jama'ah who lacks the qualifications, your Salah is batil. And who is answerable? You. Why did you follow this person? You know, Allama Tabatabai, Ridwanullah alayh, never used to lead Salatul Jama'ah. Never. Allama Tabatabai, Sahib al-Mizan, he never used to lead Salatul Jama'ah. He would pray behind his students. He would not lead. So much ihtiyat, he would do so much ihtiyat, he would not lead Salatul Jama'ah. So, the point is what? The point is that Islam understands the concept of qualification. It's not alien to it. Now, we build a community school, as we have built here. And this community school that was built, before it was built, I was present in the meeting, the general body meeting, where the discussion was held. Why do we want to build a school? A very beautiful discussion. Oh, we want a school so that our girls can learn in a safe environment. That was one of the answers. Beautiful answer. We want a school so that Islamic teachings can be promoted. MashaAllah. Beautiful example. And this was the reason why then we took the step and the community built the school. Now, the question here is, who is qualified to run an Islamic school? If we are free thinkers, we are able to answer that question for ourselves without looking at others. Because when we are looking at qualification and then we ask who is qualified and we are getting the definition from outsiders, outsiders are telling us who is qualified. If an outsider is telling you who is qualified, then you know what type of people you will come to run the school. Then forget about all your notions of running an Islamic school. You have to be a free thinker and think to yourself, look, we are running an Islamic school. We should have our own teachers from our own community, from the Muslim community, from the Mu'min community. We should have our own principal from our own community, not from outside. Oh, but they are not qualified. Fine. Two scenarios. Either we change the definition of qualification according to what Islam says, or we say, no, look, the laws of the land are such they have to have ABC. Fine. Send them, train them, pay for them so that they learn and come back qualified and run our school the way we want it to be run. But you need reflection. Because if you don't reflect today, then 50 years down the road, the consequences are going to be disastrous. This is one example. Second example of reflection and not reflecting. The consequences not reflecting. Some people have this practice of istikhara, which they do every time. If I want to stand up, I take out istikhara. If I want to sit, I take out istikhara. If I want to go to mosque, I take out istikhara. What is this? What is this? Where is the reflection? Allah has given you aql to reflect, to think. Inna Allah yuhibbul mutawakkilin. Allah loves those who do tawakkul. What is tawakkul? Tawakkul means to trust Allah. You think, you come to an understanding of the situation, then you go ahead with trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. We are not saying istikhara is wrong. No. It is there for the right purpose at the right time. And when is that? That is when you reach no conclusion, no matter how much you try to ask, to take advice from people, to do research, to investigate, you come to a dead end. Now you have no solution. Do istikhara. No problem. How many such instances happen in your life? A handful of instances like that. The true meaning of istikhara, the ulama say, is for you to recite 2 rak'ahs of prayer and raise your hands and say, oh Allah, if this action is khair for me, make it khair for me. And if it is khair for me, open the doors for me. And if it is shar for me, close the doors for me. That's it. And then you do tawakkul and you go ahead. That is istikhara. But no, unfortunately, the mind wants to be closed. And then you open the Quran. Oh, istikhara sara hai uche. Go ahead. And then if you fall in a ditch, but I done istikhara. But did you think? No. Thinking I don't want to do. Thinking is too difficult. I'll blame the istikhara. I want someone to blame. This is wrong. Do you know inside the Quran, there are certain instances of divination. Istikhara, the way we are using it today, is called divination. And if you use it in the Quran, it's called bibliomancy. Bibliomancy is where even the Christians used to do this with the Bible. They would open the Bible and the page that comes, the verse that they see, then if it's a good verse, that means go ahead and do it. And if it's a bad verse, don't do it. Christians used to do it. It's called, actually you can check up the dictionary, bibliomancy from the Bible. And that's what we are sometimes doing with the Quran. So the whole concept of istikhara as divination is there in the Quran also. It is mentioned in a different form. 2 examples I can give you. One example is when Bibi Maryam alayha salam came into the temple. And the rabbis and the priests were debating with one another who will take care of Maryam. And they were in this disagreement. Nobody was ready to decide. Nobody was ready to let go. And they said, we all want to take care of her. Who is going to do it? So that is when then they drew lots. إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمْ. They drew lots to see. They used divination to see who is going to take care of her. And then they saw that Hazrat Zakaria. Another example from the Quran, when Yunus alayhi salam was in the ship, فَسَاهَمَ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُدْحَضِينَ. They needed to throw somebody out. Who is going to be thrown out? You can't decide these things rationally. What rational reason will you give? So that is when now you do use divination. You draw lots. So it is there. If you are stuck in your life and there's absolutely no way, fine, go for the istikhara. But use your rational faculties. Allah Azza wa Jal loves those who do tawakkul. Trust in Him. Say, oh Allah, I did my investigation and now I trust in you. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Mashwara is very good also. Take advice of people. Those who are in the know, those who have knowledge about certain things, ask them, take their advice. That helps you in the thinking process. It gives you the data that you need so that you can think about things and come to a conclusion. Now what do we think? What should we think about? You say, okay, you're telling us to reflect, to be a community that reflects. But what should we reflect about? First and foremost, what you think about is who you are. It's your identity. It's what makes you. As you think, so you are. And that is why you find certain people, when you talk to them, they constantly talk about the things that interest them. Like, there's some people you talk to them, it's always about money, business, money, business, money. Some you talk to them, it's always about sports. That is their identity. They're always thinking about, and they're always talking about the same subject. That means it's engulfing their minds. Rabi'a al-Adawiyya, the Sufi saint, famous Sufi Basran lady, it is said that one time the Zuhad, those who are ascetics, they all went to meet her. And you know the Zahid is one who doesn't care about the dunya. So the Zuhad all went to her and they were all sitting there in her presence and they were criticizing this dunya. This dunya is very bad. This dunya. Rabi'ah told them that the fact that you are talking about the dunya shows that it is occupying your mind. If you truly didn't care about the dunya, you would not even criticize it. You would not even think about it. Understand? So whether you talk positively or negatively about something, the fact that you are thinking about it means it's occupying your mind. So when we say, what should we think about? What should we reflect about? The first answer that we give is think about important things. Big questions. Things that change, make an impact in your existence and your life. Not petty, small things. Let's go back to our favorite Turkish personality, Mullah Nasiruddin. Mullah Nasiruddin, one day somebody came to him and said, Mullah, can you answer me this? Where is the center of this earth? I want to know the exact point of the center of this earth. So Mullah Nasiruddin walks a few steps and he says, Yahan, here it is. That man was shocked. Here? He said, yes. If you don't believe me, measure it. If you don't believe me, measure it. Obviously, the man cannot measure it. His question was so foolish that he deserved such an answer. If we think about such petty things, then we are wasting our internal hard drive and CPU thinking about things which have no value. So think about big questions. Let's look at what the Quran tells us. When it describes those who think, Allah Azza wa Jal in the very famous verse he says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. Those who remember Allah while standing, while sitting, and even while resting, ويتفكرون, and they reflect and they think about what? في خلق السماوات والأرض, about the creation of this universe, the skies and the land. And they say to themselves, Oh Allah, they say to Allah, Oh Allah, definitely you have not created this in vain. There is a purpose behind this. The Quran says this is what you have to think about. Think about your existence. Think about your creation. So the first thing, when we say what do you think about? Think about important things like your existence. Number two, think about death. Just last night we received news about the passing away of an elderly lady of our community who had gone for Ziyarat in Karbala. If you asked that lady when she was here a few weeks ago, she would never have guessed that I will pass away in Karbala and be buried there in Karbala. Death doesn't give you advance notice. Although there is one anecdote where when the angel of death came to a person, that person did shikaya, he complained. He said, Oh angel of death, you are coming, you didn't even give me notice. You know, these days people come to your home without notice. Aib. You should have told me first, I would have prepared. In the olden days, there was no mobile, there was nothing. People would just show up. Huh? Okay. Oh, angel of death, you came, you didn't even give me notice. You should have said, give me some warning. The angel of death said, I gave you notice. When? He said, did you see those who are around you dying? That was my notice to you. Didn't you see your hair turn gray? Allahu Akbar. My notice to you. He says, all these, didn't you see your bones becoming weak and your muscles starting to pain and wrinkles forming on your cheeks? That's my notice to you. Think about death. When you think about death, then things become so easy for you in this dunya. No matter what difficulty comes to you, no, I'm leaving. I'm just a temporary guest here. So it becomes easy for you to bear. You want to know what to think about? Think about death. You know what to think about? Think about the Quran. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Allah says, I have spoken to you, my creation. I have spoken to you. You don't want to listen? You don't want to read my Quran and think why Allah has said this and that? أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Do their hearts have locks that they are not thinking about the Quran? They're not reflecting. A beautiful hadith from our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He says, Al-Qur'anu ahdullahi ila khalqih. The Qur'an is the covenant of Allah to His creation. So you should at least read 50 verses of the Qur'an every day. 50 verses, at least. I say, the Imam, mashallah, is giving us such a beautiful prescription. Some of us don't read the Qur'an until the month of Ramadan comes. Some of us not even in the month of Ramadan. Some of us wait for a Quran competition with a nice prize and then they will open the Quran. Allahu Akbar. Let alone reflecting on the Quran, we don't even open it. We don't open it. What answer will we give on the Day of Judgment? Okay, so these are some of the things we think about. But we think also in communal terms, not only thinking in individual terms. Death and all these things, we think individually, fine. But think also about the community. Think about your community. Think about who will come in the future generations and how you have prepared for them. Think about your children. When they grow up, how will they live? In what environment will they live? Look at the changes that are happening around you in the world. And look at the mistakes that you have made. Examine some mistakes in the community. We have made many decisions. And many years have passed, so have we sat down to reflect? Maybe 30 years ago we made X as a decision. And today, unfortunately, we found X didn't work out well. So let's review and let's change. Have we done that as a community? No. We just keep moving on. And sometimes, many times, making the same mistakes over and over. Not learning from them, because we don't reflect. We keep repeating the same mistakes. One example. And these examples are sure to get me in trouble, and I really do not mind. Giving control to the youth. There was a time in this community where the management of the community was in the hands of elders. Elders. And even if there were some youth, those youth were coming in as proteges and as trainees. The decision making was with people with experience. 40s, 50s, 60s were leading this community. He said, no. Hand it over to the youth. Okay, so we did that. Now, have we reviewed and seen? Have we compared? Have we done pros and cons? Have we seen when we had experienced elders and now we have youth? What changes have happened? Positive, negative, is it good? Should we continue that way? Or perhaps we can come to some sort of compromise and say, no problem, let the youth be the leaders, but they should have elders with them as guides in the managing committee. We can come to some sort of compromise. This is one example. I'm just throwing it out there for you to reflect, inshallah. Thinking in communal terms, who should lead this community? And I'm not talking about Jamaat only. I'm talking about at all levels. Who are our leaders? You know, the question of leadership is something that's not new. In ancient Greece, Plato, when he wrote his treatise known as the Republic, he asked this question: who is the ideal leader? And because he is a philosopher, he said the ideal leader should be a philosopher king. When Farabi came after him, many years after him, Farabi wrote a book, Al-Madinatul Fadilah, the ideal city. And in that ideal city, he said, the ideal city has a ruler who is a philosopher king. Why? Because philosophers think deeply about things. So when you have a leader who thinks deeply about things, you are sure to get good decisions from such an individual. These are some things to reflect about. I'm just giving you examples of what we need to think about as a community. Because when we do not reflect, then problems arise and the consequences are very negative. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Tonight we have gathered to commemorate the Shahadah or the Wafat, because there are differences of opinion of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Before we enter the Masa'ib, let us talk a little bit about Rasulullah. The Holy Prophet was a father to us. A father, a loving father. He has reportedly said himself, Ana wa Ali abawa hadhihi al-ummah. Me and Ali are the fathers of this ummah. So when you think of Rasulullah, think of him as a loving, caring father. Rahmatan lil alameen. Not only for you, for the whole universe. A mercy. And if you want to know about Rasulullah, who better to ask than Amirul Mu'mineen? The one who was closest to him will tell you who he was. A very brief description of Rasulullah, because you know it's so interesting. Even when Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim as-salam wanted to know about their grandfather, they would come to Imam Ali and say, Baba, tell us about our grandfather. And he would tell them, he was like this and he was like this. And they would listen. In Khutbah 160 of Nahjul Balagha, I've taken a very brief part because time does not permit. He says, the Holy Prophet took the least from this world and he did not even glance at it with interest. He didn't look at this dunya with any interest, with any longing. He was the most slender and empty of stomach. His stomach was empty most of the time. Imam is saying, Amirul Mu'mineen is describing Rasulullah. He would sit on the ground and eat like a slave. He would mend his own shoes and patch his own clothes. Allahu Akbar. He rode on an unsaddled donkey. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. To give yourself context, to remember this is the greatest man to walk on the face of this earth. The greatest, barring none. This is how he lived. And Amirul Mu'mineen is telling us of his humility and his approachability and his being so down to earth. One lady once came from the desert, or it was a man, according to some narrations, and they were looking for the Holy Prophet, and he was seated with his companions, and that man came in and he said, who amongst you is Muhammad? Allahu Akbar. He could not tell. So humble. He sat with them like one of them. It has been narrated that a few days before Rasulullah left this world, he came to the people and he said, Ayyuhan nas, O people, if I owe any of you anything, please come and take it from me, because I am soon going to be leaving this dunya. This has come in different narrations, even in the books of Ahlul Sunnah. One man stood up and said, because the Prophet was insisting, if any of you, I owe you any qard, please let me know so I can repay you. I will be leaving this world soon. One man stood up and said, Ya Rasulullah, one day as you are riding your camel and you are whipping your camel, your whip hit me on my chest. Allahu Akbar. Ya Rasulullah, you hit me with your whip on my chest. Rasulullah said, okay, come. Oh Bilal, go and get my whip from the house of Fatima. Bilal goes to the house of Fatima. Ya bint Rasulullah, your father is asking for his whip. Fatima says, why does he want it? Bilal says, there is a man who has said that he is going to whip your father. All the companions begin to cry. They begin telling that man, Astaghfirullah, you are going to whip Rasulullah. The whip is brought. The man is given the whip. He comes forward. He says, no, Rasulullah, when you whipped my chest, I did not have a shirt. My chest was bare. Rasulullah removes his shirt. He says, whip me now. The man comes forward and he kisses the chest of Rasulullah. He says, Ya Rasulullah, I did not wish to whip you. I just wished to kiss your chest. Allahu Akbar. But everyone in that gathering was crying when they saw that scene. This is how Rasulullah was leaving this world. People knew that he's going to leave. But what did they do? One day Ibn Abbas was seated and he was crying and weeping, and so many tears were falling down from his cheeks that the pebbles around him became wet. Somebody asked him, Ibn Abbas, why are you crying? This was many years after the death of Rasulullah. He said, because I remember the calamity of Thursday, Raziyatu Yawm al-Khamis. What happened on Thursday? They asked him. He said, this was the last Thursday of Rasulullah's life. Rasulullah was on his bed and he told the people, oh people, bring for me a pen and paper so that I may write down for you something that will save you in this world and the akhirah. What did the people say? They said he's delirious, he doesn't know what he's saying. This is the answer the people gave until Rasulullah told them to leave. Ibn Abbas was crying when he remembered that. During the last moments of Rasulullah's life, he asked his daughter Fatima, oh Fatima, I feel like seeing my grandsons Hassan and Hussein. He loved Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein so much, I wish them to come to me. And so the young Hassan and Hussein come to Rasulullah. The riwayah says that Imam al-Hassan put his cheek on the cheek of Rasulullah. Imam Hussein put his face on the chest of Rasulullah, and they were crying and weeping. All the Sahaba who were there began to weep when they saw this mandar of these two young children, and Rasulullah also began to weep. Then finally he said, now call to me my brother Ali. Imam Ali came near. It is so interesting that a Sunni source, An-Nasa'i, says that it was Imam Ali who was with Rasulullah. And Rasulullah was whispering to him till the final moments of his life. He was giving him secrets. He was telling him all the secrets. And Imam Ali stayed near Rasulullah till he passed away from this world. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi left this world. Everyone in Medina wept for him. He was given ghusl. He was given kafan, he was buried, and everyone came for his ziyarah. But I remember my Imam in Karbala. Assalamu alaikum ya Aba Abdullah. 3 days on the hot sands of Karbala without ghusl and without kafan. Ala la'natullahi ala al-qawmi al-zalimin. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة.
तन्हा रखा है घर में जनाजा रसूल का, तन्हा रखा है घर में जनाजा रसूल का। असहाब चुन रहे हैं खलीफा रसूल का। एक रोज में नबी से ज़माना बदल गया, कोई नहीं उठाए जो لاشا رسول کا مشکل کشائے وقت ہے مشکل میں آج خود مشکل کشائے وقت ہے مشکل میں آج خود تنہا اٹھائے کیسے جنازہ رسول کا رونا بھی فاطمہ کا گوارا نہیں رونا بھی فاطمہ کا گوارا نہیں پڑھتے تھے روز و شب جو قصیدہ رسول کا ہاتھوں میں آگ لے کے در فاطمہ پہ لو ہاتھوں میں آگ لے کے در فاطمہ پہ لو بیٹی سے لینے آئے ہیں بدلہ رسول کا دروازہ فاطمہ پہ گرایا لگائی آگ اچھا دیا ہے بیٹی کو پرسا رسول کا یا حسین 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 آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو 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 آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ ساری دنیا کو وفاداری ساری دنیا کو وفاداری سکھاؤ لوگو آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ 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 جس عقیدت سے بپا کرتے ہو میلاد نبی جس عقیدت سے بپا کرتے ہو میلاد نبی فرش غم میں سے محمد کا فرش غم میں سے محمد کا بچھاؤ لوگو آؤ تابوت
آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت
محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ
تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو۔ گھر میں ہے فاطمہ زہرا کے اندھیرا چھایا، گھر میں ہے فاطمہ زہرا کے اندھیرا چھایا، آج کی رات چراغوں کو، آج کی رات چراغوں کو بجھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو۔ یہ صف غم ہے محمد کی، یہاں فرق نہیں، یہ صف غم ہے محمد کی، یہاں فرق نہیں۔ ہاں اسی صف پہ زمانے کو، ہاں اسی صف پہ زمانے کو بلاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو۔ کھا کے پتھر بھی جو امت کو دعا دیتے رہے، کھا کے پتھر بھی جو امت کو دعا دیتے رہے، ایسے محسن کا نہ احسان، ایسے محسن کا نہ احسان بھلاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ 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 لوگو۔ اپنے غم بھول کے دیتی ہے خدیجہ یہ صدا، اپنے غم بھول کے دیتی ہے خدیجہ یہ صدا، آنسو زہرا کی یتیمی پہ، آنسو زہرا کی یتیمی پہ بہاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو، آؤ تابوت محمد کا اٹھاؤ لوگو۔
ہے دردناک یہ منظر حسین جاتے ہیں، 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 باپا دلوں میں ہے محشر حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر حسین جاتے ہیں، علم کو چوم کے مولا کو الوداع کہیے، علم کو چوم کے مولا کو الوداع کہیے، ہے ختم رونق ممبر، ہے ختم رونق ممبر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، 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 حسین جاتے ہیں۔ عزا کے آخری دن آ گئے عزادارو، عزا کے آخری دن آ گئے عزادارو، اڑاؤ خاک سروں پر، اڑاؤ خاک سروں پر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، 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 حسین جاتے ہیں۔ لرزتے اشکوں سے آپاس کو کرو رخسار، لرزتے اشکوں سے آپاس کو کرو رخسار، ہے ساتھ ساتھ برادر، ہے ساتھ ساتھ برادر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، 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 حسین جاتے ہیں۔ وہ اپنے نانا کے دی کو بچانے آئے تھے، وہ اپنے نانا کے دی کو بچانے آئے تھے، لٹا کے اپنا براگر، لٹا کے اپنا براگر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، 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 حسین جاتے ہیں۔ علم کو چوم کے مولا کو الوداع کہیے، علم کو چوم کے مولا کو الوداع کہیے، ہے ختم رونق ممبر، ہے ختم رونق ممبر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک یہ منظر، حسین جاتے ہیں، ہے دردناک، الوداع الوداع زر، حسین جاتے ہیں۔ جیے تو اگلے برس ہم ہیں اور یہ ماتم ہے، جیے تو اگلے برس ہم ہیں اور یہ ماتم ہے، جیے تو اگلے برس ہم ہیں اور یہ ماتم ہے، جو چل بسے تو ہمارا، جو چل بسے تو ہمارا، سلام آخر ہے،
بمحمد وآل محمد صلوات. Let's recite 5 times Yujibul for all the marid and for all those who are facing difficulties. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul. يكشف اللهم صل على. This is an announcement from the Saj Youth Union. In order to mentor our youth to serve in the Jamaat, SYU will be hosting Project Majlis on the Shahadat of Bimasumaikum. This will be a normal mosque program but completely organized by the youth. From MRC, cooking, media to Niyaz, the youth will be serving the community. We look forward to hosting the community. Majlis by the youth for the community. And lastly, tonight's Niyaz has been kind donated by Mrs. Zareen Noshad Merali for the Isala Sawab of Marhum Noshad Nur Ali Merali, Marhumin of Merali family, Marhumin of Karmali Nasser family, and Kul Marhumin. Please cite a Surah Fatiha. And Nargis Auntie.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. زيارة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا محمد بن عبد الله. السلام عليك يا خيرة الله. السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا أمين الله. أشهد أنك رسول الله وأشهد أنك محمد بن عبد الله وأشهد أنك قد نصحت لأمتك وجاهدت في سبيل ربك وعبدته حتى أتاك اليقين، فجزاك الله يا رسول الله أفضل ما جزى نبيا عن أمته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أفضل ما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا حجة الله يا ابن الحسن يا صاحب العصر والزمان. سيدي الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وزهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وعافيا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على